Okay, we're gonna do a little practice today. I was watching a bluegrass player playing a song called "How Beautiful Heaven Must Be," and I was watching as he was playing it on the violin, what he was doing, and I said to myself, "Well, I'm just trying to get my microphone set up here. I don't want to be too close to the microphone because otherwise." It's gonna be too crazy. So I'm gonna just try to because I have a bow to deal with, and so I have two mics here. This one here is a vocal mic, and this one is the SM57 mic. And so I think it's pretty good as it is right now. I like Chris Bliss found out sometimes playing music with in-ear monitors, or in this case on the ear monitors, can be hard. I did tune it before I started breakfast, but I'm gonna just double check to make sure my strings are in tune because they do get out of tune pretty quick. There's a reason behind that. E's good, and G goes off. That's 3D. Almost got it. That's too sharp now. This is the part of the tuning I hate. Okay, now it's in tune. Take it up just a little bit. That's too sharp. Turn it back. Too soft or too flat. Close. Perfect. Take the G again. That's too sharp. Turn back a bit. Okay, that's good. That's good. It's good. D's a little off, but just a tiny smudge. A little more on the D. But this is just this tuning gives you a lot of false positives. Okay, right now I'm working on D. No, I want D, not G. Okay. Okay. As I said, this thing has a lot of false positives. So it's a little bit sharp. This tuner is terrible. This thing has a lot of false positives, and I gotta watch that with this tuner. For example, I'm doing a D, and it's showing me as a G, and I'm not doing a G right now. I just did the G. This thing has a fixation with the G string. Yeah, it does. No, it's too sharp on G. Too sharp on G. Turn it back a bit. Perfect. D is close. Yeah, D is close. It's not really G. I don't know why it just keeps. See, there's a lot of false positives. Pick this down because I think that's close to where it should be. 3D. Okay. Turn back just a little more. Look at the G right. You gotta admit, you have to have patience with a saint to tune this thing. Because the problem is the tuner is so inaccurate sometimes that wait, that's too high. I think it. hate when it does that. Now I have to deal with the pigs. I don't like pigs. Unfortunately, these pigs, at least on this side, the pig box, they go right in. But, oh, I hate twisting those things so bad. Okay, let's see. Whoop, too much. For some reason, the E string is not really locking in the way I want it. I gotta be careful with this. Just itty bitty tindy bit. Okay, now I'm getting into two-way tuning on it. This is the A. This takes me a while. doesn't sound right. It takes a while. That's what I'm talking about. You see, you get these false positives, and then you have to. Higher. I still haven't gotten the E right yet, though. I had this perfect earlier. somehow. Well, if I loosen up this thing all the way up and then try to tune back because it's so. Yeah, I'm gonna try it all the way open and see what happens here. We're close to it. That string's too loose. You can feel it. It's too loose. So I can just tune out. I'm gonna try to tighten this peg. Oh, this is the E one. Okay. Okay, let me try and bring it a little bit. It's getting closer. I can hear it. Takes a while. He's getting close. Yep. No, just a tiny bit more. There we go. I think what's happening is I think the peg is slipping, which is not uncommon. I'm gonna do a G again because that's also going to be tuning it too. Because now G holds the pegs pretty good with the strings. G. No, by the way, let me look at the bridge here, make sure it's still centered. Yeah, it is. I'm going to do the A because that's off too. I could hear when it's off. When I heard the thing do a pitch bend, I knew I was in trouble. Because what it is, it's probably one of two things. There ain't no E. See, this is where it's giving me false positives. that's too tight. I think that's way too tight. Good call. This thing has a lot of false positives. So I try to now, since it's got next to my body, you can hear me. No, so we're taking just one setting. It throws everything else off. That's the reason why tuning this thing is so frustrating. Sometimes I get it right on. So close, it's like. Back just a tiny bit. Tiniest fraction of a millimeter, just got it. All right. It's the A string, I think. Let's turn it back. Got it. Still too high. Yes, you have to go through this. Not every day, but yes. Let's see what it is in some of these notes. Alright, now we can get to some fun. So, again, when you play it, the E's in tune, the A's in tune, the D's in tune. G's in tune. But yet the problem is it's twofold. The bridge moves. That's how you work. Okay? The bridge moves. So when you're tuning it, sometimes and that's the part of it that frustrates me. It's like, imagine if you were playing with guts. If you were playing with gut strings, if you were playing with gut strings on this thing, you'd be tuning it every few measures because your gut strings will stretch. Okay, that's good now. Good enough. I'm not gonna micromanage my strings to death. That's ridiculous. I'm not gonna. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to do a little experimenting, and I like to do that. I like to experiment with ideas, and so right here is about as tight as you really want to make your bow. I mean, some people say really twist it to it like the string goes straight. That's absolutely fine, but you don't want to go any tighter than that where it starts bowing inwards, because that's going to really mess you up. So I was listening to one bluegrasser. He was doing with the D and the E's. Okay, so let's just be sure it's in tune. Okay, good. So now what he was doing was just using the D string. So how do I know if this is in tune? Easy. What I'm doing is I'm holding for. That's not quite right. Because it sounds like the G string shifted again. Oh, let's see. Because when you put your fingers on the fingerboard and you put them in the right position, the first position, you should get, and fourth button down, you should get on the G a D. So let me check that here. Yeah, it's a little sharp. And that's a little bit flat. I can hear it. So, see, I may not have the greatest hearing in the world, but I can figure it out when my strings are off. Okay, it was the G string that was off. Okay, G string is on the sharp side. Okay. So, let's see. But then again, why would the G string ever go sharp? Well, this peg box. And somebody says, do you get the pegs pushing all the way? I do. But the peg box is a little bit off. It seems to be, this one here doesn't seem to go through the peg box completely. This one, which is the D, does, but it doesn't quite go all the way through. And then you have the same problem on the other side with the E string, and the A string does fine for the most part. So that's what I'm saying, is there is a manufacturer flaws in this violin. Because of that, I have to kind of guess. So I'm going to do the same thing here. That's better. So that's supposed to be a D. Alright, so this is E. So let's see if we can get an F here. Okay, so I'm gonna try with E is my worst string. there's E. That's supposed to be F. G. A. B. And you could theoretically go for a C, but it's so hard. Alright, so now how do I know if I really that's the right sound? Well, as long as the string's in tune. Okay, that's the A, that's the E. See, now they're in tune. See, this is the fourth finger, first position on the A string, and it's the sound. Almost the same as the open A. Okay, so what I want to try to do is let's try to do some scales here. Let's try. Let's start with the lowest note. That's the G. A. B. C. Then the next row, which would be D. And if I do the same thing with the other here, you can kind of hear it sounds the same. It's not perfect, but you try. So now we did the D. I'm gonna do E, F. So this is D. Make sure you just get the D string. Open D. So now I got the F, G, A, B. Let me see. So D, E. I forgot E. So this is E. This is F. This is G. And then if I held the fourth finger down, I should get A. And this is A. You gotta still play them together. It's not quite right, but it's close. Okay, so now after A, we're in the A, B, C, D, E. This is E. And this is E. That sounds pretty close. Play them together, they should resonate. Okay, so now we got the E. Now I'm going to do with the F. F string. So here's E. Here's F. Here's G. A. And B. Okay, so now we know the bass in the first position. Now I actually tried to figure out the second position, which is not exactly down here, but pretty close. If you okay, now we'll do the same thing on this other here. Here's an idea where the bottom of the second position is. It's right here. These are the last notes in the A position, or in the third. So let's do this. There you go. Doesn't that sound beautiful? So I'm gonna say, what's it? Open E. So, all right. So now we still have a trigger. Let's see what we can do with this the D string. Let's just keep it. Just use the first. When I was doing this on the on the on the iPhone violin with the sliding, with the E string, I can do it on the real violin too. This a lot work. Will work. Ooh, I like that sound. I like that. That sounds cool. I mean, really, I did that on the phone. I moved. I mean, GarageBand. So we're playing. You know what's worse is I'm tone deaf on these lower frequencies. I like that. How do I know my notes in tune? Just like I showed you. Just take. And now hit this note here. I go to G, D. Here's the thing you gotta watch out for. When you're trying to do the G string, the G, you got a problem you gotta watch out for is your fingers on the fingerboard. Let's just. I think my G slipped out again. together. In other words, the strings sometimes get out of tune. I wonder if those pegs are moving. I think they're moving. Okay, that's fourth finger, first position on A. And if I go to fourth position on this, it should go something like this. I wonder what would happen, because this is why reason why piano violin tuner suggested another type of tuner that clamps to the body near the neck, which I can't because this doesn't have a clamp on it for that, but which is really designed for viola. But I wonder if it would work for violin, because this is the pain in the ass. Because I mean, if I'm trying to get my intonation right, and that doesn't help me when my strings keep changing. Yeah. It's a G string pushing about. No, it's close, but it's a little off. Not gonna too much. There you go. So what's happening is this. I think the pegs are slipping. They're not, which is not uncommon. Some people will install replacement pegs, which I don't have on this one. But basically, what they are is they make a violin equivalent of machine pegs, like you would see on electric or on guitars. So let's test this again. That's G. That's D. A. There's E. That's all the open notes. So now if I do back to the four fingers again, gently go this down, I should get the same as on this. When I put it together, it should be pretty close. Now I'm going to switch this over to D. I'm going to go to D here. I do know about something called the chords, which two strings. Play it too soft and it sounds. Alright, let's try to get back into the scale again. Let's just try to scale again. I want to try to get this right. Okay, first of all, I gotta be honest. Posture does matter, and if you think it don't, you're an idiot. Okay, so let's try. Okay, so that should be equal to that one. So now we'll just do the E. F, G, A, and this is A over here. Okay, so B, C, D. And if I do E, which is the fourth, E, E, okay, let's open E. F, G, A, B. Okay, so why is it so hard to come up with a song? Well, because when you're starting to figure it, you're figuring out the figures. You're like, your brain has to kind of figure it out what you're doing. So, like, if I want to go, that's how you went out the bowing. So let's say I want to go like, you know, E F G A. Okay, let's say this one G. So B G A B C. Okay, so open this G A B C D. So let's try that. Okay, let's try this out. Now, if I do is throw in the D string here. Ow, my fingers are starting to hurt. Ow, 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 ow. Stupid arthritis. Alright, so. I love doing this with the E. That's my favorite note. It just kills me when you do that. No. That's so fucking cool. All right. Let's just stick with solid notes because that gets funny when you do the slide. I love when you do that though. All right. Remember when my play used to be with that huge. I'm going to explain this to you. That scratchiness, too much pull pressure. It's just like Chris's violin, too much air, and you're gonna get. That's J. We're going to get some fast staccato. Like I said, when it comes to G, I'm pretty much tone deaf because I can't really hear G too well. I can hear, but it. So. Oh, let's try it again. So we know where A is now. D is. That's D. That's D. Because you got the fourth finger. The fourth finger is an any string is really normally not needed. The only time you need the fourth finger is if you want to get the B string. Because there's no B on the. But if there was, you would hear it. So if you put the fourth finger on the A, and you hear the same thing on that. If you don't, or if it's not even close, then you know your strings are out of tune. But if you're gonna get close, when I really test it, play them both together. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why violins don't have frets. Because if you had frets, here's what would happen. You would be going by, first of all, the poor frets on the neckboard on the violin is like hell. First of all, look at the peg box. Look at the way this is designed. You're gonna put frets on this. It's gonna be like you're not gonna be able to really feel the frets until you get down to about here. Yes, that is actually another position on the violin. Also, they go into different positions. So let me show you what that would sound like. This is really high pitch. That's a beautiful tone that everybody loves. That weepy E. Oh, I love it. Oh, let's play with it. Let's. Okay. Oh my God, it's way down here. I think because my wrist would probably be better for me to stick with the first and second position. Going all the way down there is really hard. So this is the A string, B. This is the A, E. And I move over to the D. It's not perfect because it doesn't quite. Now, since most people talk about songs like the ones that we all play, the main open string, let's go. They got what's called velocity. That sounds like a circular saw, table saw. Anyway, let me show you something else too. Because you can pluck a violin too. And when you do, This is the reason why fretboard would never work. See, it does. Kind of. So I can hear you can do some things with it. This is C. This is F. This is G. This is A. And this is B. It's gotta be B because it sounds right. Because I can tell when I hit over here. When I hit with open A. Pretty close, right? Yep. I like doing this stuff. You love that. Oh, I like this. So we're getting to it. That's your very common squeaky violin. So a bit nice, but this is what the A string would sound like in about the same position. You having a little fun? Yeah. Well, so let's try again. This is G. Well, it should be a G. Here's an A. Okay. So G, A, E, C, and D. And this should be open D. It sounds pretty close. Now we have make sure you got the right fingers on the right ones. She had one of the wrong ones. Not quite right, but. Put them together. Oh, it's not putting that right. No. So the A is not right. A is off. It's like. That's better. Alright, so now I'm going to move over to the E. On note, please. And for those of you who want a mini cello, yes, you can play it like that, but your hands are going to hate you. And if you got arthritis, fuck it. It's going to hurt like hell. Oh, forget it. No, yes, you can play it like a mini cello. That's not meant to be that way, but you can play it that way. So, but you can't play it like a viola. Oh, you can. Oh, my wrist. All right, so, but if you want to try it though, what you do is just remember the same thing. You're gonna have your strings in the same place. Of course, it's not meant to be played that way, but well, somebody might try it. I mean, I could see Rusty the cat playing it like an octabass. For Rusty, it would be like an octabass. That's really low down there. Oh, that's a wrist. Alright. Enough of that third position. That is killing me. Alright, so basically, I'm having a problem with the E effect here. Because when I'm doing the A, okay, like here's. So, I got the G, D, E, okay? Okay, here's the A. And I go for A, okay, I'm in D. G, I'm in D, oh, sorry, D without the finger, G, D, E, F, wait a minute, so first one is, so it's D, so open D, E, F, G, A, B, C, okay, so this would be, I already know, this is supposed to be A, and that matches pretty well. But the problem I'm running into is when I get onto the A string, you got your open A, B, C, D, E. That's regular E. That sounds like an E flat. It's not right. So I'm wondering if I'm supposed to move my finger out. Also, how hard? Okay, so in that case, E is not quite where I think it is, because this is A, this is B, C, E. Okay, so I screwed up. Okay, here's A. This is B, C, D, E. And then it's supposed to be E. I'll play them together. And somehow the E sounds wrong. Like it's. Steady. That's the opening. That sounds closer right now. So this is so frustrating because first thing is, okay, number one, you should always take this anyway, is your bridge up. And my bridge, I should take that occasionally. It looks pretty close to up. Is it the right position? And that's important too. Yeah, it's pretty close to right. Because sometimes what happens is the way the bridges are designed, you'll see that this one here, I mean, you can't see it too well, but there's, this is one of the toughest instruments to play. Not the toughest, but it's one of, because you got just like, let's talk about it. Let's compare this to the accordion. And the way you don't think about an accordion, you can't pluck a accordion. You need to open and close. But if you don't press hard enough or you don't go fast enough, you get this. And also, you need rosin, but accordions don't use rosin. So you wanna. This is like if Chris opens his accordion all the way. I'm gonna have that nice. Or if he just goes a little short flats. See, so it's like the note would be panting. So where Chris has got the bellows he has to deal with making the noise, I got a bow to deal with. That's the difference. Pressure, 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 pressure. Yeah, so that's what makes it hard, is because you gotta get the bowing right, or it sounds terrible. Unfortunately, my violin has a manufacturer's defect on it, as I said, makes it very difficult because sometimes as you're playing it, you keep wondering yourself, are we still in tune because of the pegboard, as I told you? And I really don't know. So, when I'm in doubt, I'll turn on my tuner and take a quick look at it. He's good. He's a little sharp. Okay, that's better. You got a little sharp. I told you. Okay, it's good. So every so often you just gotta check it. Especially if you think you're practicing it and you notice when you're doing your intonation that the notes change. That's the problem with violins, is because these pegs. If these pegs are even out a little bit, it's gonna be a nightmare in loser town. Because if you're trying to play a G and you're getting something that sounds really weird, like no, it's from tune again. So let's just say it's one of that. That's what G open G. That's what D sounds like. So, so the thing you might want to check on occasionally is your bridge, because if your bridge moves around, and it can, mine probably will, you just check it out occasionally, make sure it's not too badly out of tune. And then we're gonna put this away for now. Now I gotta put this video. And I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the most boring violin video you ever gonna see. But on the other hand, maybe it isn't to you. Maybe you actually loved it because you got a chance to see me do some weird violin gymnastics, for lack of a better term. Okay, now let's talk about how you put the bow away. You don't have to totally take the hairs totally off. Just loosen the frog, just like that. That's so that the frog hairs aren't under tension. That's fine. That's fine. That's all you have to do. Okay? Put that back into your case. I have two bows, so because eventually, what sometimes happens is the strings break. The bow hairs break. I didn't have to rosin the bow, but occasionally you will want to rosin the bow. Now, I agree with the violin piano tutor. This is pretty basic rosin. This isn't the really good stuff, but well, it's what we got. So we'll use it. Okay. This rosin will last you everyday play, probably about a year, maybe more than a year. That's not the most important thing to worry about. Now that we have closed this little compartment on the side, close the violin case, close the Velcro. Now remember, and this is more important for larger stringed instruments like violas and cellos and basses. Put it sideways. Remember, the sound post is on this side. And the real reason you want to keep it sideways when you're storing it instead of on the back is because if you do put it on your back, it's going to deform the back. And then it's going to totally mess it up. Okay? So, put it back into the hidey hole. In my case, is under the table here. Stuff under here, too. Let me see how we sound over here. Yeah, we sound okay. That's good. So, anyway, that's that. So now you heard me play for about almost an hour, maybe 2 hours. So, yeah, I do practice the violin. At least I'm learning how to do the fingering and trying to get notes that sound consistent in intonation. But then I have some fun of exploration time where I explore like with slides and the bow methods to see if I can get the notes to sound really funky. That's what we do. That's what we do. So everybody thought I would show you some of the things that we do for fun when we have time with the violin. But for now, I'm going to let you guys go. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.